the very best, whomever they are, or whatever they do, it's not luck. It's not something that's just handed to you. It's something that you have to work so incredibly hard for.
The Columbus Crew 2023 MLS Cup champions!
Oh, they've done it! Gotham FC, the 2023 champions!
Phoenix wins their first championship crown! The Houston Dynamo win the 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup! Spectacular from Christian Pulisic!
Rodman on the edge of the box for the shot and a fabulous finish.
It's Aki. Takes it, scores!
It's a fabulous run and a fabulous goal.
And the United States will head to the World Cup to begin the defense of their title.
Let's get this party started.
On the tips of Smith, goal! US leads. In swinging ball, headed down, tied and won! She did it, hooray! History made tonight. First time we have had a USA referee in a final. That's Tori Pencil, Brooke Mayo, Catherine Nesbitt, a part of the officiating crew.
Greg Berhalter is set to return as U.S. men's national team manager.
Emma Hayes officially announced as the new head coach of the U.S. women's national team.
Atlanta will soon become the epicenter of U.S. soccer, the aftershocks of which will be known and seen for decades to come.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to U.S. Soccer's 2024 Annual General Meeting. It's so great to see all of you, though no one wore their cowboy and cowgirl hats today, but hopefully we'll bust them out later. I hereby call our National Council meeting to order. Before we get into the main part of the meeting today, I'd like to take a moment to thank a number of people within our sport. First, a special thanks to Janet Campbell in North Texas for hosting us. I trust that everyone is enjoying their time here in Northern Texas, so thanks, Janet. We have a number of distinguished Life members with us here today. Life members, please stand up or raise your hand if you are able, so we can applaud you in your service to the game. If you have represented our country on one of our national teams, please stand up or raise your hand if you are able. It is so great to see current and former players continue to engage in the governance of our sport, and we appreciate all the Athlete Council representatives that are here today. Thank you to our board. Thank you for all your time, your energy, and effort. You have really rolled up your sleeves, and together we have accomplished a lot this past year. And you all should be very proud of your board representatives, as they have served our game, served you and U.S. Soccer very well. I want to call out one board member. I want to give a special thank you to Mike Karen for that. Most of you don't know the extra hours that he has put in, the trips to Chicago, as he so generously volunteered to step in as interim CFO while we went through the hiring process that led us to Shell. So thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it. And a huge thanks, and you guys have all come up to me and told me how great our staff is, but I just want to call it out today on stage. A huge thanks to the entire U.S. Soccer staff for their diligent and tireless work, not only in putting this event together, but for all their efforts throughout the year. I can't say it enough, but our staff is absolutely brilliant, and I appreciate everything they do, day in and day out. You all inspire me, and I absolutely love working alongside you. And to our delegates and guests, thank you all for everything you do for our sport every day. I hope this weekend has been productive and collaborative for all of you. And so we will get right to the agenda. This past year, we lost a number of those within our soccer family. People we care for deeply and will always hold close to our hearts. Please stand if you are able for a moment of silence as we remember and honor the friends and members of our soccer family who left us this past year. Thank you. Now I will ask my former national team teammate and chair of the Credentials Committee, Siri Mullinex, to do the roll call and the credentials report.
Thank you, Cindy. Good morning and welcome. I hope most of you were able to attend the welcome event last night, the home of U.S. Soccer's Hall of Fame. What a great space, honoring so many wonderful teams and individual achievements. Before I present the report, I would like to take a minute to thank a handful of people who have devoted countless hours over the past few months preparing for today's meeting and vote. First, I'd like to thank the delegates sitting in this room for your energy and efforts to meet our early registration deadline this year as we prepared for an early February meeting. I would also like to thank the members of the Credentials Committee, Kathy, Diane, Bob, and Jonathan. And last, a big thank you to the staff at U.S. Soccer. On behalf of myself and my committee, your hard work behind the scenes makes our process flow smoothly and efficiently. Next, I want to quickly review the role of the Credentials Committee. U.S. Soccer Bylaw 302 regarding composition and voting lays out the structure we must follow in preparation for a vote and defines who qualifies as a delegate of the National Council. As you are aware, the National Council consists of the Youth, Adult, Pro, and Athletes Council, as well as individual members, which include the Board of Directors, life members, past presidents, and sustaining members. And last are other members, which include other affiliates, national affiliates, disabled service organizations, and associate members. Under Bylaw 302, an individual is only able to vote in one capacity. For any National Council meeting, a delegate's vote may not exceed 2% of the eligible votes to be cast, the exception, the Athletes Council. Based on Bylaw 302 and the amendments passed in the October 2021 meeting, total votes available to be cast is now set at 1,500. Equal voting strength must be provided to the Youth, Adult, and Pro Council, and each will receive 20% of the total allocated votes, which is 300 votes. The Athletes Council voting strength is 33%, and the total allocated votes is 500 votes. The weight of each vote cast is determined by a multiplier. Individual members are entitled to one vote to each registered delegate. And last, delegates from other members have a voting strength equal to 100 less the total number of delegates from the individual members. The weight of each vote is also determined by a multiplier. Now for the report. And we do have a quorum today. We will be conducting the roll call visually this morning. The slides on the screen recognize all organizations and delegates registered to vote today. Please pay attention as we go through them. Youth Council. Next slide. Adult Council. Next slide. Pro Council. Athletes Council. individual members, and other members. As we can see in the summary of the credentials report, the number of delegates and votes, the voting strength of each council, individual members and other members, and multipliers were needed. If all eligible votes are cast, the bottom right of the screen displays the votes needed to reach a simple majority, greater than 750 votes, and a 2/3 majority, greater than or equal to 1,000 votes. This concludes the credentials report for the 2024 National Council meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the credentials report? Do I have a second? Any objections? Hearing none, the 2024 credentials report has been approved. As we prepare to vote, we will have 2 test questions to get familiar with the voting process and the clickers. You will answer by pushing 1 or 2 on your clicker. As we are in Dallas, Texas, I thought it would be fun to ask a question about Dallas. Test question 1. What year was the inception of the Dallas Cup? Voting is open. 1 for 1980, 2 for 1990. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voting is closed. Stand by as we calculate the results. As you can see on the screen, most of you voted 1 at 77%. 1 is the correct answer. Good job. Test question 2. Before being called FC Dallas, the MLS team was originally called the Dallas Burn. True or false? 1 true, 2 false. Voting is open. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voting is closed. Please stand by. As we can see on the screen, obviously 1, 63.2%. That is correct. Thank you all for your time and the approval of the credentials report. I will now pass it back to Cindy for the President's address. Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks, Jerry. Hello again. As we enter another very exciting year for soccer, I want to spend a few moments to first reflect on today's opening video. You saw a lot of the success we've had from our youth and adult organizations, our pro leagues, our referees and coaches, and of course, our national teams. Those accomplishments are the results of everyone in this room and all of the people that work incredibly hard in each and every one of your organizations across the country. This year, after hearing your insights and feedback, lots of feedback, we outlined our strategic pillars and accelerated initiatives to ensure that we capitalize on the amazing opportunity we all have in the coming years to inspire and impact players, coaches, referees, and fans of all ages. Off the field, this year has been a momentous year for U.S. soccer as well. Commercially, 2023 was a pivotal moment for us as we brought our commercial rights back in-house and reimagined our infrastructure and long-term strategic direction to ensure exponential growth. We have experienced a record-breaking year, doubling year-over-year partner revenue while adding 7 new partners. All of these deals are long-term, purpose-driven partnerships that will make significant contributions to the U.S. Soccer's strategic vision and serve our members by allocating funds to our member organizations while also reducing barriers to our game. As you may have heard, we also made a historic announcement this fall that U.S. Soccer is building a home as we develop our country's first ever national training center and moving U.S. Soccer's headquarters to the metro Atlanta area. This incredibly important project will impact our sport for generations to come. The National Training Center will provide year-round access to world-class training facilities and be a central hub where experimentation and knowledge sharing at all levels will take place, from refereeing and coaching, talent identification to player development. With our headquarters being there as well, this will be a transformative step to take soccer in this country to the next level. I want to give a special thank you to Arthur Blank for his leadership and belief in me and in U.S. Soccer, and for helping to make the National Training Center a reality. Arthur, your generous contribution, along with your team, especially Steve Cannon jumping in to help us, is making this dream a reality. I also want to thank Don Garber. Thank you for your counsel, your guidance, and support throughout this process. You know, I think you've built a few facilities in this country over the years, but I just really want to thank you for diving in and helping to make dreams of millions of kids come true. Thank you. I also want to thank Coca-Cola, the Coca-Cola Foundation, and so many individuals across the state of Georgia, including Georgia Soccer and Fayette County. I look forward to being able to welcome all of you to our new home soon. I also look forward, as I know we all do, to hosting the world's biggest sporting event alongside our neighbors to the north and the south. We are obviously all hard at work preparing and looking forward to the matches of the 2026 Men's World Cup. But just as important is the World Cup's legacy projects, and they will help change the trajectory of our sport and springboard soccer's growth in our country. Together, we will seize this moment to grow the game for decades to come. We're also incredibly proud of our bid to co-host the 2027 Women's World Cup with Mexico. We titled the bid New Heights because it's all about elevating the women's game to a historic level. Our bid pushes the global soccer community towards providing an equitable experience for all teams, referees, and fans to that of the Men's World Cup. Together, we will show the world that the USA and Mexico are ready for 2027. And speaking of a Women's World Cup, I wanted to take a moment to note something really special, as you saw in the video earlier. At this past year's Women's World Cup, for the first time ever at a senior World Cup final, officiating was headed up by U.S. Soccer referees Tori, Brooke, Catherine, and Armando. We are honored to have them here. I appreciate the applause, but it was a little early. We are honored to have Tori and Catherine here with us today. If you will please stand up so we can all recognize you and applaud you. Pretty cool. And also, just a reminder that Tori and Catherine will be joining Ishmael on a panel to discuss their experiences at the Men's and Women's World Cups. So please join us for that panel and a number of others later today. Before I close, I would like to thank our U.S. Soccer members across the country. This game is your game. From keeping fields lined to nurturing player development at all levels, you are the heartbeat that keeps soccer alive in communities across the country. I enjoy meeting with all of you throughout the year and hearing about all the great work you're doing and how U.S. Soccer can help you achieve your goals. And the best thing is we're not even close to being done yet. We have ambitious goals, and together we are going to transform our game. As we get ready to enter what will truly be a once-in-a-generation moment, I have never been more confident about the future of U.S. Soccer. I am deeply honored to serve as your president. Thank you. Now I will pass it over to JT.
Thanks, Cindy, and good morning all. How much fun was last night? Come on. I was super impressed with y'all's dance moves, and most impressively, anyone who had any amount of self-control on those ribs. I'm thrilled to be with you today and share with you what we've heard from all of you over the last year. You've told us you want change. You've told us you want transformation. You've told us you want ambition. And we hear you loud and clear. And most importantly, we agree. Cindy did an excellent job of outlining the fact that we have a lot to celebrate, and we certainly do. We also know we have a lot of work ahead of us. As we all know, success requires a whole lot of collective effort. When we roll up our sleeves and work together, U.S. Soccer and soccer in America can go do big things. Our success hinges on knowing our direction and everyone rowing in that direction, which is why, alongside you, our members, our board, our staff, we forged clear strategic pillars and core philosophies for U.S. Soccer. Since we've outlined these philosophies, many of you have told us how refreshing it is for these words to come from U.S. Soccer. In our commitment to transparency and collaboration, we've launched a website that outlines our vision, our accelerated initiatives, along with regular updates to track our progress. We very, very, very much want your feedback, and most importantly, we want you to hold us accountable. You've been very direct in telling us that the ecosystem is not exactly organized in a way to grow participation or create the best environments. We're acting on that feedback and are deeply engaged in a full-scale review of our ecosystem. We're going to need your help to get this right. We're hosting town halls, forums, and online Q&A sessions, and we'll be sharing our learnings and plans publicly. This work is critical in our efforts to grow the game, create the best environments, and develop winning teams at the professional and national team level. All of us in this room help drive the success of our pro leagues and national teams, and all of us benefit when their increased popularity helps drive interest in the game at all levels. So, quick question. How many of you played soccer, coached soccer, refed, volunteered before the 1994 World Cup? Raise your hand. It's most of us, right? Maybe not Sean. Think back. We would be absolutely blown away at professional soccer in America looks like right now. New teams, awesome infrastructure, landmark signings, media deals, and rising attendance. How awesome is it to think how far we've come? Speaking of success, congrats to our U17 women's national team for qualifying for the U17 World Cup yesterday with their win over Haiti. And while we may be bidding with Mexico for the Women's World Cup, let's hope the U17s beat them tomorrow in the CONCACAF final. We also should celebrate our deaf women's national team's third straight World Deaf Championship. We've got some of the team with us. Congratulations. As you all know, safety in our sport is paramount. If our participants don't feel safe, nothing else matters. We have been diligently implementing the Yates initiatives, and we won't stop there. Our new Safe Soccer Clearance program will provide participants with a safer and more enjoyable environment. We're also creating programs to address concerns such as referee abuse, all with the focus on taking steps to draw people into our sport. Speaking of pulling people into the sport, the 2026 World Cup has the potential to transform the trajectory of soccer forever. To capitalize on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, we will be launching the 2026 Legacy Platform later this year, launched ahead of a World Cup for the first time in history. This Legacy campaign is directly based on the feedback from you. Our goal is to make soccer the #1 sport for the next generation, the most played, the most accessible, and the most followed. And we mean this. Like many of you in this room, my love for the game ballooned with the '94 Men's World Cup and the '99 Women's World Cup. I can vividly remember watching the U.S. v. Brazil game on July 4th, 1994, while at the University of South Carolina soccer camp, or huddling around a small television with rabbit ears with friends that essentially was nerd camp to watch the historic 99ers win with those iconic scenes at the Rose Bowl. Think of what we have in front of us. What a time to be a soccer fan in America. And what incredible fans we have. Thank you. We've got some of the fan council here today. Thank you for pushing us to be great on and off the field. A little while later, we'll be reviewing our financial performance for FY24 and our upcoming FY25 plans. We're proud to share that we're ahead of budget and we're positioned incredibly well financially for the long haul. The support of our partners, donors, and fans directly impacts our ability to invest on behalf of our membership. To orchestrate these grand initiatives, we need a symphony of talent, a remarkable team, dedicated members, supportive partners, and a visionary board. I stand here proud to say that we are 4-4-4. As we look towards a once-in-a-generation moment that we have ahead of us, I could not be more excited to be here working with all of you to bring this to life. So thank you very much.
Thanks, JT. Before we get started, one thing that affects our agenda today is that we will not be holding an election for the independent director seat. The Nominating Governance Committee, as well as the full board, is in the process of evaluating candidates, and we will hold the election at next year's National Council meeting. Everyone should have received the minutes of our 2023 National Council meeting in San Diego. I need a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second? Any objections? Minutes are approved. Thank you. I began our meeting today by saluting our great Life members, and I can report that the Board of Directors recently approved the nomination of 2 Life members, Bob Kepner and Sal Rapaglia. I'd like to recognize Darius from North Carolina Adult Soccer Association to speak from the floor regarding Bob's nomination.
Hello, and thank you, Cindy. It is my pleasure and honor to nominate Bob Kepner to U.S. Soccer for lifetime membership. Bob Kepner and his lovely wife, Margaret, who passed 2 years ago, are considered North Carolina soccer icons, giving of their time without limit. Bob's leadership with North Carolina youth laid a foundation that has prospered and flourished, benefiting tens of thousands of children over the years. He turned his wisdom, his guidance, and leadership to the Adult Association, making us one of the stronger ones in the United States. Bob has served both the Youth and Adult Association in numerous roles, president, treasurer, secretary, registrar, many times simultaneously. He has orchestrated the North Carolina Soccer Hall of Fame, the North Carolina Soccer Foundation. He has served the national organizations, both USYS, USASA, in multiple roles, and he's also served the U.S. Soccer Foundation for over 20 years. To summarize, Bob lives by this quote: "Service is the rent that we pay for living. It is something the very purpose of our life, not something you do in your spare time." So with this, I humbly ask for your support in inducting Bob Kepner to the U.S. Soccer Lifetime Membership. Thank you.
Unless there's an objection, Bob Kepner is approved as a Life member by general consent. Bob is with us here today. Bob, would you like to stand up or raise your hand so that we can all recognize you and give you the round of applause that you so deserve? Congratulations, Bob. So well deserved. I'd like to now invite Rocco from Eastern New York State Soccer Association to speak from the floor regarding Sal's nomination.
Good morning. Madam President, Executive Boards of the United States Soccer Federation, it is with immense pleasure and profound admiration that Eastern New York State Soccer Association honor to nominate an extraordinary individual who has dedicated a lifetime to the beautiful game of soccer. Today, Eastern New York State Soccer Association extends its heartfelt congratulations and proudly nominates Sal Rapaglia, President of Eastern New York State Soccer Association, for this prestigious title of Life Member of the United States Soccer Federation. Sal Rapaglia's journey in soccer is nothing short of remarkable. From his humble beginnings in Italy to his arrival in the United States in the 1950s, Sal's passion for the sport has been unwavering. His roots in soccer run deep, and it is evident in every facet of his life. For over 4 decades, Sal has served as the president of the Eastern New York State Soccer Association, a testament to his steadfast commitment and exemplary leadership. Since assuming the presidency in 1979, he has guided the association through numerous milestones, transforming it from its infancy into one of the most prominent and respected state associations within the United States Adult Soccer Association and the United States Soccer Federation. Sal Rapaglia is the recipient of one of the highest awards that the Federation offers, the Warner Fricker Award. Sal's impact extends far beyond administrative duties. As a player and coach in Brooklyn, New York during the 1960s through the 1980s, he left an indelible mark on the local soccer scene. His dedication to nurturing talent and fostering a love for the game has influenced countless individuals throughout the years. One of Sal's greatest legacies lies in his role as a mentor. He has generously shared his knowledge, wisdom, and passion with aspiring players, coaches, and administrators alike. His guidance has shaped the careers and lives of many, leaving an enduring imprint on the soccer community. Should he be named, which he has already, a life member, it would be a testament to Sal Rapaglia's exceptional contributions and unwavering dedication to the sport he holds dear. It is a recognition of his tireless efforts, selfless service, and profound impact on the Eastern New York State Soccer Association and beyond. As we honor Sal today, let us not only celebrate his achievements, but also express our gratitude for his invaluable contribution to the world of soccer. Sal Rapaglia's passion, leadership, and commitment inspires us all, and we are deeply grateful for his enduring legacy. Being nominated for life membership is a well-deserved honor, and may Sal's love for the game continue to inspire generations to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Rocco. Unless there's an objection, Sal Rapaglia is approved as a life member by general consent. Unfortunately, Sal could not attend in person today, but I'm sure he's watching like others from home. Congratulations, Sal. Very well deserved. Next up, to take us through the fiscal year 25 budget, I'd like to invite Lisa Carnoy, Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, to the podium.
Thanks, Cindy, and good morning, everyone. Today, I'm asking that the National Council join me in supporting approval of the proposed fiscal year 2025 budget as included in the most recent book of reports. As U.S. Soccer Treasurer and Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, I want to thank our committee for their diligent oversight of the budget process. That includes Sean Boyle, John Collins, Lori Lindsay, Bill Taylor, and Michael Karen. I'd also like to thank the U.S. Soccer staff for their efforts throughout this process. Last year, we received membership approval for a budget deficit of $9.5 million in fiscal '24. We are on track to achieve a lower deficit and have accelerated spending in our youth and extended national teams and membership programs. Our proposed fiscal 25 budget reflects our strategic plan and responsibly builds on the progress we've made. Next year, U.S. Soccer will diversify and scale revenue, execute a new sporting strategy, and continue to invest in member programs. Most importantly, the fiscal 25 budget, as proposed, is expected to produce a small operating surplus, fulfilling the commitment we made last year to align revenue and expenses. In December 2023, the Budget and Finance Committee reviewed the fiscal 25 budget. The committee recommended approval to the Board of Directors. Subsequently, the board approved the fiscal 25 budget. Let's now review the budget highlights narrated by Vice Chair of the committee, Michael Caron.
The last year has marked exceptional progress for U.S. Soccer. In fiscal year 24, we completed our first year of managing our commercial rights in-house, exceeding our projections. We launched a new comprehensive business strategy to support our long-term vision, and we increased visibility into and predictability of our operating results. U.S. Soccer delivered these outcomes, all while remaining on track to hit our financial targets. As a result of proactively managing the FY24 budget, U.S. Soccer has accelerated investment beyond what was originally planned. This year, we funded an additional $3.7 million in programming that directly benefits our members and youth and extended national teams. Looking ahead to FY25, U.S. Soccer will build on this strong foundation to continue to evolve sustainably. All in, we project an operating surplus of $1.2 million with revenue and expenses aligned. The FY25 budget has three major objectives, consistent with our long-term strategic vision. Diversifying and scaling revenue. We will continue to invest to scale our commercial activities and ramp up philanthropic support as we diversify our revenue. Executing our sporting strategy. We will make significant investments to enable sporting success and deliver high-value services to our members. Investing in member programs. We will continue to improve our ways of working to be more efficient and collaborative in order to improve decision-making and benefit our members. Let's look at how the FY25 budget supports these priorities. Diversifying and scaling revenue. Commercial and events revenues continue to be central to growing U.S. Soccer's impact and driving benefits to our members. In FY25, U.S. Soccer projects commercial and events operating revenues to be 77% of projected federation revenues. To bring this to life, heightened focus has been placed on expanding strategic partnerships through growth and retention of existing brand partners, combined with an influx of new blue-chip companies. The stakes are higher and the marketplace is competitive. Our ability to drive meaningful value will be core to our long-term success. In addition, we'll drive deeper connections with current and prospective fans to grow the game, while also fueling other areas of our business through consumer products, match attendance, and game viewership. This year, U.S. Soccer will also build out our approach to attract philanthropic partners, with $10 million in contributions available to the operating budget expected next year. The Federation's commercial success helps guarantee the financial future of the sport and enables us to support our members and the soccer ecosystem in a meaningful way. Executing our sporting strategy. With the conclusion of the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, U.S. Soccer is entering its next World Cup window. The Federation will invest $88 million in supporting soccer at the highest level, preparing for sporting success in the coming years and inspiring future generations. The plan will include investing in new staff to support all 27 of our national teams, including building a complete strategy for each team. Similar to FY24, we will continue to focus on the growth of our extended national teams and youth national teams by sustaining and developing programming and competitions. Improving playing environments for our members. U.S. Soccer is especially focused on delivering high-value solutions to our members. In FY25, the Federation will invest $29.9 million in the soccer ecosystem. This includes Innovate to Grow, which directly supports membership-run programs. $3.5 million in ITG funds have been approved for the coming year and will be distributed to members. This is supported by FIFA Forward. Additional U.S. soccer funding will target two areas of strategic focus. The first is growing the game. U.S. Soccer is investing in pathways into the game and experiences to stay connected to the game. Initiatives to support these priorities include democratizing soccer knowledge, which will connect the ecosystem to best resources to inform, grow, and develop our soccer community, and growing the number of referees across all levels of the game. The second area of strategic focus is fostering the best playing environments. We continue to focus on cultivating safe, fun, and dynamic places to play through the initiatives like the Safe Soccer Program and meaningful collaborations with partners across the soccer landscape. U.S. Soccer believes the FY25 budget projections outlined today extend our commitment to investing in the soccer ecosystem. We'd like to thank our member organizations, athletes, fans, donors, coaches, referees, commercial partners, and staff for their work toward elevating soccer in the United States. With your support, we believe the best is yet to come. With that, we ask the National Council approve U.S. Soccer's FY25 budget.
Thank you, Michael. With that, I would like to motion to approve the budget. Is there a second? Okay, Cindy.
Thank you, Lisa. Are there any questions? If so, I'll bring up Michael Karen to the podium to answer any questions. Man, you got saved, Michael. All right, unless there is an objection, we'll approve the fiscal year 25 budget by general consent. Fantastic. Budget is approved. Well done, Budget and Finance Committee. Now I'll call Greg Fike up to the podium for membership applications.
Thank you, Cindy, and welcome everyone. We're going to try and move through this. If there's any questions, please come up to the microphones and I'll try and recognize you. So, including your book of reports are 2 membership applications that have been previously approved by the board as provisional members. The applications are for Special Olympics of North America and from the Girls Academy. Membership applications require approval of the majority of the National Council. Unless there's an objection, we'll handle the membership applications by the general consent process, and we'll go through each one. The Special Olympics of North America was provisionally approved by the board as a disabled service organization. Unless there's an objection, Special Olympics membership as a disabled service organization is approved by general consent. Seeing no objections, their application is approved. There may be a representative from Special Olympics North America. If you're here and would like to make your way to the microphones to address the body, that would be great. Please state your name for the court reporter.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Sean Sake. I'm with Special Olympics North America. I thought the vote was going to be after I spoke, so I'm very excited to know that there's a general vote. So that was great. So less pressure. Yeah, so Special Olympics, just to give a quick history, we started in 1969, so it's for individuals with intellectual disabilities. Eunice Kennedy Shriver was our founder. We started in Chicago at Soldier Field, and now across the world we have over 6 million athletes and unified partners. In the United States specifically, we have over 600,000 athletes and unified partners. Specifically, in the last census, we had over 25,000 playing soccer. So we're really excited to grow that number continuously. We have a grant within the Department of Education that we're in over 10,000 schools right now to promote inclusion within the schools. We also have great partnerships with the MLS and USL. Our MLS partnership with our Unified program has been super successful. My daughter is on the Unified team for Nashville Soccer Club, so that's been a great thing. So just excited. I was going to say, would appreciate your vote, so appreciate your vote. That was great. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you and welcome. Now moving on to the Girls Academy. The Girls Academy was provisionally approved by the board as a national affiliate. Unless there is an objection, the Girls Academy membership as national affiliate is approved by general consent. Hearing no objection, their application is approved. If there is a representative from the Girls Academy who would like to speak, please make your way. Trish? Please make sure you state your name for the stenographer.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Trish Hughes. I'm the Commissioner of the Girls Academy. And I too thought we were waiting on a vote, so I humbly stand here and feel this is a tremendous privilege. And for all the young girls that we represent across the country, and as an ally and partner in the youth landscape, we are so excited to partner and work with other members on the future of the game, growing fandom, and just standing as a full member with the privileges that entails. This is a big moment for us. We're quite nervous, obviously, but I thank you. I thank everybody for your support, and we're excited for the future of where we go from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you and welcome. So we're going to move on to the bylaw amendments next. So there will be a vote. Included in your Book of Reports, Section 9, are a series of bylaw amendments. As required by Bylaw 802, all the proposed amendments have been reviewed by the Rules Committee, and their reports are included in the Book of Reports. We'll now proceed for consideration of the proposed bylaw amendments. So I've just been asked by the Credentials Committee to make sure we rerun the test vote so we can make sure we're all set for the voting process. So if we can bring up test question 1 and make sure everybody please presses their keypads. Here's just a few reminders about voting before we get started. Please only push 1 or 2 as you're voting. You don't need to hit send. We'll leave voting open for a little longer when we actually do this to make sure that everyone is voted. We are tracking the number of keypads that vote, and we will show the total weighted vote so everybody can see it on the screen when it comes up with the percentage. And then we will also make sure that that I read it as with a decimal point, because the total weighted vote will show up on your screen without the decimal point. So please go ahead and start the first test question. What was the year of inception for the Dallas Cup? 1, 1980, and 2, 1990. Sorry, we already know the answer, but please press your keypad anyway to make sure it's working. Siri, please conduct the vote. It's not working. It's low. All right, so we're going to go through this vote, and then if there's any issues, I'll ask to make sure we get them corrected. So.
closed.
Well, everybody got it right. But can we have the total weighted vote? Okay, perfect. So the total weighted vote in this circumstance was 1,225 and 0.87, and for number one, and the total weighted vote for number two was 74.36. So somebody just pushed no to make sure it worked. So you can see the total weighted vote on this slide, so you should be good. Hopefully that clears up any confusion. There have been a few keypads that have a low battery, so what I would like to do very quickly, hopefully, is come up, and if anybody has a low battery, if you can just raise your hand and we can raise the house lights to make sure that your keypad will work throughout the meeting. I just want to do it very quickly. We do have extra batteries. Don? Is there anybody else? Yep.
User error. Thank you. Oh, wow.
Do we have batteries?
Yeah, we have batteries. Of course we have batteries. Thank you for your patience.
She should be right in that group.
Thank you again for your patience. I'll make up time as we move through. Thank you so much for your patience. I'll give you a few seconds to return to your seat so we can get started. Yeah, please sit down. Oh, that's okay. So thanks everybody for your patience. Just on the batteries, everything should be set now. Even if your keypad for some reason shows a little battery signal, I've been assured it should last for the length of this meeting, so at this point. So just want to make sure they were all set properly and we were able to show the votes properly for everybody to be able to see. So the first item for consideration under the topic of the bylaw amendments is Bylaw 231, as proposed by Richard Groff. It is included first in your book of reports in the bylaws, section 9, subsection A. The proposal is to change who can nominate life members. The Rules Committee's recommendation is printed in the book of reports with the bylaw. The question is on the adoption of the proposed amendment to Bylaw 231 as found in the book of reports in bylaws section 9, subsection A. Is there any discussion? Richard, would you like to say something since you're the proposer? All right. Hearing no discussion, I don't think there's anybody who's coming up to speak. All right. The question is on adoption of the proposed amendment to Bylaw 231, Section 2, as found in your book of reports. The motion requires a 2/3 vote for adoption, and the vote will be taken electronically. Are you ready for the question? Ms. Mullenix, please proceed with the vote. All those in favor of the motion, as mentioned before, please press 1 on your keypads. All those opposed to the motion, press 2 on your keypads. You should be all set. Go ahead, Siri.
Please vote now. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voting is closed.
As you can see on your screen, the vote is 91.87% in favor, 1,293.21 votes in favor. Therefore, there are 2/3 in the affirmative, and the motion is adopted. The bylaw is amended as proposed. Thank you. The next item for consideration is amendment to Bylaw 401, Section 1C, as proposed by Juan Uro. It is included in your book of reports in the bylaws section 9, subsection B. The proposal is to provide a stipend to the President of the Federation. The Rules Committee report is printed in the book of reports along with the bylaw proposal. The question is on adoption of the proposed amendment to Bylaw 401, Section 1C, as found in the book of reports. Is there any discussion? Juan, would you like to say a few words about the amendment?
No, I'm sure I think it's as popular as Richard's one, so let's go ahead.
Is there any further discussion from the floor?
Good morning. First, let me apologize for my voice, but I got up just in support of this amendment. A couple of friends of mine that know a lot more than I do regarding soccer, they told me that FIFA puts a lot of stress on the president to travel all over the world, left and right. So I know a lot of people felt, at least from the adult and the youth council, felt that that was not the right thing to do the last time this was brought up. I strongly ask each and every one of you to support this amendment. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good morning. Hugh Goodrich from New York State West. I looked this over and I asked several questions, and we went through it with Juan Uro on a call a couple weeks ago. And once equated the need for the stipend and almost to a job position where it's an employee. And he also indicated that there is compensation already being provided on several of the other council that this position allows the president to attend to. And so from my perspective in terms of our state, we thought that we would not vote in favor of this because other compensation is being provided. Should that really still continue to be the case, then maybe we look at it if we want to offer a stipend. It's a dollar-for-dollar reduction in terms of what we offer and somebody else is offering to help facilitate being the president of the U.S. Soccer Federation. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'll recognize Juan. Is the proposer the proposer?
Well, maybe I would like to respond to that question because as many members will remember, last year we have a pretty healthy debate on this topic, and there were a few members who were open to the concept, but they have concerns about some of the language and they wanted some feedback and homework on some aspects, including the legality of paying the president. A second issue was around this aspect of employment, and a third one was what will happen if the president will be paid by CONCACAF or some other organization like FIFA. So over the last year, we have been working very diligently to get all the questions from the member, and I appreciate the member advisory committee presided by Chas Baelish, who did an amazing job seeking input from dozens and dozens of members. We got more than 20 questions, and we circulated the document with a number of those answers. But in a nutshell, there were three areas of concern again. The first one was the legality. We consulted with labor law and legal counsel, and it's legal to compensate an officer for the duties. It's not an employment. It's a compensation for the duties. That's absolutely 100% legal in the US in nonprofit. The second one was the concern about employment and the current language advised by the lawyers on the stipend, which is something that some other nonprofit has done. It has no employment binding. It's almost like an independent contractor, and that's how it will be shown on the 990. And on the limitation, because of other federations, in fact, has been adjusted to remove half of that compensation if in the president role they will be seeking seat in CONCACAF or in FIFA. So I'm sure other people would like to continue thinking about this concept, but based on the input that we got last year and based on number of consultations, and I probably talked to more than 30 to 40 people in this room about this, I think hopefully these concerns or these questions has been addressed.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize the member.
Dave Guthrie, Indiana. Speaking against the motion, my comments are not speaking against our current president. I want to reiterate that. My comments have nothing to do with speaking against our current president. It has everything to do with protecting our organization. Like the maker of this motion, I spent 35 years in the private sector, where I owned and operated businesses. I actually spent a stint as the CEO of a publicly traded corporation. So I saw through the lens of the private sector just like Juan does. And so when I found myself as the president of Indiana Soccer, a 501c3, I was motivated to go back to college, and I was in my 50s, and get a master's certificate in not-for-profit management, just so that I would be educated as to how to operate and move a not-for-profit forward. And what I found is the ethics, the way in which you operate are completely different, or should be different, and that the IRS looks at us as a public trust. And as such, when we have directors and officers, they are trustees. And as such, they're not supposed to be involved in operations. They're supposed to be setting vision. They hire those who would be responsible for operations. And so they're supposed to be stewards of the organization, setting vision, making sure that they hold staff accountable to achieve that vision. I would like for us to vote against the motion and have the board go back and look and say, well, if we're casting all these responsibilities on our president, that's not following best practices for a 501c3 organization. Rather, we should reallocate those responsibilities back to staff and let our president focus on the 3 things that are outlined in our bylaws as the president's responsibility. And Juan mentioned the private contractor component. Well, when you look at the IRS, and again, they're giving us a non-tax status, when you look at, you can be a statutory employee, you can be a non-statutory, or you can be a common law employee or a private contractor, an independent contractor. If you look at the tests that require whether you are an employee or an independent contractor, as I read through the IRS statutes, I don't see how in the world we could justify paying a president and calling them an independent contractor, because we can't pass the test of what disqualifies you from being an employee. And if they're going to be an employee, you don't pay them a stipend, they have to get access to all employee benefits. So as those of us that are holding these keypads, we are the ultimate stewards of this organization. So I implore you to push 2 when the vote comes up, denounce this, and ask our board to reallocate those responsibilities that are overwhelming our president and allow that president to focus on those things that are outlined in our bylaws. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Yes, Juan, give the proposer of the motion an opportunity to respond.
So I appreciate Dave, and as always, he's very thoughtful, and we see eye to eye on many issues, and in some we don't. And he expressed last year a similar sentiment, and he spoke about the volumes of best practices in nonprofit, which I read. And the officer can be paid, full stop. By the way, when you look at the major nonprofits in the U.S., take a look. I'm sure, Dave, you know, where is Mayo Clinic, where is the Red Cross, where is the Gates Foundations. Look at the number of hours that the chairperson spends. And it's a fraction, a very minor fraction of what our chair spends. And why? Because they don't spend, time with global or regional chairs of other organizations. They don't meet with the chair of another hospital or another, Red Cross in other countries. They don't attend weekly events. Cindy started her discussion about how pleased she was of spending time with all of you in so many events throughout the year, and you are seeking the president presence. You are not seeking a staff presence. It's not about reallocating the responsibility. You are looking for the person that you elected to lead this organization. The chair in those nonprofits is selected by the board because it's the chair of the board. Is that the model that you think is helpful for soccer? You want to delegate the responsibility to the board to select the chair? I'm all for that if that's what this membership is. But I think we are not trying to operate like the Mayo Clinic or the Red Cross, all reputable organizations. We are soccer. We need a president to stand out, to work with other presidents around the world. You want a president that wants to be with you in those events. You want that public figure to lead this organization. So if you want to operate as a nonprofit and you think this is the Mayo Clinic board, you can vote no. 2, if you want to think that this is soccer and we want to grow this game, I hope you press 1.
All right, thank you. I think this will be our last comment. Thank you. Just recognizing the member.
Thank you. Ashley Hammond, Cerebral Palsy Soccer. We're a disability service organization, and I stand in favor of this motion, and I hope that everybody will press 1 for a number of reasons. Firstly, as evidenced by the legalities just spoken about, the legal issue is a non-issue, so I think then we take it to a different issue. And if you haven't witnessed, I have witnessed for sure, that as this weekend goes by, our president knows every member, she visits with every member, she takes time with every member, and we in the disability service organizations are thoroughly supported by that. But I asked one question of Cindy this morning at breakfast. Do you ever see your family? And her response touched me. She said, I made a promise to my family that I would try not to be ever away from them for 7 days. And I actually broke that promise last year with the World Cup, and it crushed me. Virtually everybody in this room started in this world of soccer because of their families. We all I certainly did. My son's here. and I started in this world because of families. So when you take away the legal issues, this becomes a personal issue. This becomes whether we ask someone to literally sacrifice everything in their life. And it's Cindy today, it'll be someone else next year or the year after, whenever that may be. I don't think this is an option. I think it's press one.
All right, thank you. Sort of hoping this is the last one and we can limit the remarks to a relatively short period of time. Thank you so much. Recognize the member.
Andy Marion, South Carolina Adults, so I guess I'm the grand finish here. First of all, I want to thank Juan and others for hosting the online Zoom meeting about this amendment a few weeks ago. That was very useful. Also, I'd like to thank the MAC committee for providing the written answers and questions about this that have come up. I still feel like, of people I talk to, there's a lot of unease about the governance issues that Dave Guthrie just raised a minute ago. There's still a lot of uncertainty of like how this is supposed to work. And maybe that boils down to what really is the proper role of the U.S. Soccer president and the relationship of that role to the CEO. Because maybe it's evolved to a point where it's so demanding of the president, either that's the nature of the beast and we have to deal with that as it is, or we're not operating in the best way, that the staff and the CEO should be really doing more of the day-to-day stuff. But nevertheless, we have a situation where the CEO makes sure the trains run on time, but the president has to make sure we have trains. And how demanding that is, I can't judge, and I think a lot of people are uncertain about that. They just really don't know how to judge this because they really don't know what a full job description of the president would be or should be and how demanding that is. So all those governance issues aside, I think a lot of people are kind of uneasy about it, but I'm certainly sympathetic to the idea of making the position open to more people that can afford it. I do have one specific technical issue though, and I raised this in the Zoom meeting, but I'm still bothered by it, and that's the simple fact of having the bylaw specify the dollar amount. It seems to me it'd be more appropriate that if we're going to do this, the bylaw ought to authorize the board to come up with a figure. The bylaw would authorize the organization to pay the president a stipend, whatever you call it, and then the policy for this would be spelled out and reviewed and reapproved every so often. That would actually name the dollar amount. That makes it easier to change. You don't have to have a bylaw amendment every time you want to change what's paid. And you could structure it so that the bylaw gives the general authorization to pay the president something, and then the policy specifies it, and the policy could be approved by the board at an end of the year, beginning of the year meeting, immediately before the next National Council meeting where we have to approve the policy. So there's not a big timeline. And maybe you could do this, you could structure it so you only have to do this once every, say, 4 years before the next election. So before each election, then the policy would set the dollar amount. So I think some of that, it'd be useful to think that through. I don't like having the dollar amount set in the bylaw that then has to be amended. So, thank you.
Yes, very briefly, if you could.
Very briefly, for Juan, cannot be very briefly, but I appreciate Andrew's question, and through the process of governance reform over the last couple of years, what we learned is there's still a level of trust that needs to be earned between members and the Federation, and particularly with the board. From that point of view, while philosophically I agree with Andrew's concept, I think practically speaking, to put a number gives you the confidence that that's the number, that you are not delegating that number to someone else. And while you want me to be brief, I also appreciate Andrew because last year he said, I did an emotional appeal. And I took that very personal, Andrew. So this year I tried to be less emotional. And in order to be less emotional, I asked artificial intelligence. I'm sure some of you have heard about ChatGPT or GenAI. And you can keep me honest. I asked the question, should the U.S. Soccer Federation president be paid? And I wanted to share because I thought it was a good reflection of what I heard from members. And if not, at least should be a reflection for the times that we live in terms of technology. It says, as an artificial developed by OpenAI, I do not form personal opinions or stances. Very smart, very political. However, I can provide some perspectives on this question. Whether the U.S. Soccer Federation president should be a paid position is ultimately a decision for the federation by itself, for you, which number you are going to press today, 1 or 2. And considering its specific context, requirements, and resources. There are arguments for both sides. Arguments for compensation include, number 1, I'll be brief, significant time and effort. The role requires a full-time commitment, and compensation could recognize this dedication. Number 2, attracting talent. Compensation may attract more highly qualified candidates to the role, potentially enhancing the federation performance and reputation. Number 3, equity and accessibility. Compensation could make the role more accessible to a diverse range of candidates who may not have the personal financial resources to work without pay. Work without pay. The arguments against: historic precedent. The prestige and opportunity to contribute should be considered a compensation in and by itself. From where I grew up, prestige doesn't pay rent. Prestige doesn't put food on a table. So I urge you to consider to press number 1. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The question is on adoption of the proposed amendment to Bylaw 401, Section 1C, is found in the Book of Reports. This motion requires a 2/3 vote for adoption, and the vote will be taken electronically. Are you ready for the question? Ms. Mullenix, please proceed with the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please press 1 on your keypads. All those opposed to the motion, please press 2 on your keypads. Thank you.
Voting is open. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voting is now closed.
Greg? I probably should have raised it beforehand, but there was a point of clarification. 2 gentlemen in the front row wanted to know if they get retroactive payments.
I don't get to make those kind of decisions. Just for the record, so the vote is 80.88% in favor, and the weighted vote was 1,170.39 in favor. Therefore, there are 2/3 in the affirmative, and the motion is adopted. Bylaw 401, Section 1C, as amended, is as amended. All right, thank you. The next item for consideration is the amendment to Bylaw 431, Section 5, proposed by the Nominating and Governance Committee. It's included in your book of reports, Section 9, subsection C. The proposal is to add review of membership applications to the Nominating and Governance Committee. This used to be a responsibility of the Rules Committee. It is now a responsibility of the Nominating and Governance Committee. This is just reflecting it in the bylaws. The Rules Committee rationale is printed in the bylaws, or printed in the book of reports with the bylaw proposal. The question is on adoption of the proposed amendment to Bylaw 431, Section 5, as found in the Book of Reports in the Section 9. Is there any discussion? Dr. Pete, anything on this? You don't need to. All right. Hearing no discussion. Hearing no discussion. The question is on adoption of the proposed amendment to Bylaw 431, Section 5, as found in your Book of Reports. This motion requires a 2/3 vote for adoption, and the vote will be taken electronically. Are you ready for the question? Ms. Mullenix, please proceed with the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please press 1 on your keypads. All those opposed to the motion, please press 2 on your keypads. Thank you.
Voting is open. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voting is closed.
The vote is 99.34% with 1,419.15 weighted vote in favor. Therefore, there are 2/3 in the affirmative, and the motion is adopted. Bylaw 431, Section 5 is amended as proposed. The next item for consideration is the amendment to Bylaw 705, proposed by Cindy Cohn and J.T. Batson, is included in your book of reports, Bylaws Section 9, subsection D. The proposal is to update the arbitration tribunal to align with the new USOPC arbitration tribunal selected by the USOPC under new rules. The Rules Committee report is printed in your book of reports with the proposed amendment. The question is on the adoption of the proposed amendment to Bylaw 705 is found in the Book of Reports in the Bylaws section. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the question is on adoption of the proposed amendment to Bylaw 705 is found in the Book of Reports. This motion requires a 2/3 vote for adoption, and the vote will be taken electronically. Are you ready for the question? Ms. Mullenix, please proceed with the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please press 1 on your keypads, and all those opposed to the motion, please press 2 on your keypads. Thank you.
Voting is open. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voting is closed.
As you can see, the vote is 99.2% in favor, and therefore there are 2/3 in the affirmative, and the motion is adopted to amend Bylaws 705 as proposed. Thank you. Moving on from the bylaws. I think the next item on the agenda is a new policy amendment. I believe this policy amendment related to fees is being withdrawn. Just want to confirm that with Richard Groff, the proposer? Yeah. All right. I can confirm it has been withdrawn. So now we're on to ratification of the bylaws or the policies that were previously approved by the Board of Directors. It's found in your Book of Reports, Section 11. There are 2 policies. It is proposed to consider affirmation of these policies, policy amendments together en banc. The 2 policies are 102.4-1 and 601-5, Section 6A. If there are no objections to the Board's amendments to the policies referenced herein, they will be approved en bloc by general consent. Are there any objections to either of the policies? Hearing none, they're approved by general consent. All right, moving on. I think as mentioned earlier, there will be no independent director election at this point. So we're moving on to the election of the vice president. So today we'll have an election for vice president. In accordance with our bylaws and policies, the nomination process was public, starting in October and closing in December. 2 candidates completed the nomination process and agreed to stand for election today, Nathan Goldberg Crenier and Pete Zopfi. At this point, we want to invite both Nathan and Pete to make brief remarks of 5 minutes each, up to 5 minutes each. The candidates participated in a draw, and Pete Zopfi will speak first. Pete, you want to come up?
Thank you, Greg. Good morning, everyone. I've heard that physicians have bad handwriting, and to be honest, I didn't believe that until I reviewed my notes this morning, and they were right. We've got bad handwriting. But anyway, I'll be brief. It won't take 5 minutes. There's 3 priorities that is important for us in the election of the vice president. One is experience, one is leadership, and one is commitment. To truly understand soccer in America, it takes years of communicating with our members, it takes years of creating solutions for common problems, and it takes years of collaboration with our members. My basic platform is experience at all levels of the game, collaborative leadership with our members, and a commitment to the unification of soccer in America. These are the priorities for U.S. Soccer over the next 4 years, as we've heard Cindy and JT report to us earlier. I encourage each one of us individually to select the person that they think is most qualified for this position of leadership. I'm grateful for the opportunity to run for this position, and I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Pete. Next, Nathan.
All right. Good morning, members of the Federation, friends in soccer. It's an honor to speak with you today. I want to begin by addressing very directly a matter that some of you have asked me about during this campaign. Yes, I am 28 years old, and while this is, of course, a sign of youth, I also see it as a sign of my commitment to the future of the Federation. And for the few of you who are singularly focused on my age, the good news is that I'm not getting any younger. I stand before you today, humbled and grateful for how soccer has shaped my entire life, including my service here at the Federation. You see, my 28 years of experience with soccer have been nothing short of an honest-to-God American dream. I was born and raised in Mexico, where soccer is religion. I dreamed of playing professionally, but that would have required dropping out of school. Instead, at 13 years old, soccer opened the door for me to come study in America, the land of opportunity. In South Texas, I played U.S. youth soccer, and then I was fortunate enough to join the Development Academy. Later on, I played Division I soccer in college, joining the team as a freshman walk-on and graduating as a senior captain, elected by my teammates. I never made it pro, but I got to fulfill that dream in a way when I worked as a data analyst for Orlando City, and I moonlighted as a practice player for Orlando Pride. Then, I was fortunate enough to serve at Soccer House, where I worked closely and built friendships with so many of you, members, staff, and players. And so after watching so many World Cups as a fan, it was a privilege to be in France in 2019 to play a small role in the Federation's support of our women's national team when they became back-to-back world champions. Most recently, as Chief Soccer Officer at Gotham FC, it was the thrill of a lifetime to join the team in lifting the NWSL trophy after we went from worst to first in a single season. My journey was only possible thanks to the values that I learned playing the game: teamwork, leadership, and determination. And since soccer has given me everything, I want to give back to the game that I love by serving the Federation. I want to do everything that I can to make sure that every person in America, regardless of race, income, gender, disability, age, and nationality, has the same opportunity that I had to allow soccer to change their life for the better. I believe that if you love soccer, like all of us do, there's nowhere better to be in the world over the next 4 years than in the United States. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to transform the game forever and for everyone. To make the most of this opportunity, we need leaders who can help build bridges across our membership, who can help ensure that every community is included in the growth of the game and who can help shape the future of soccer in America to reach our potential and match our ambition. With Cindy and JT at the helm, I know that our federation's brightest days are ahead of us. And what makes me most hopeful and optimistic about the future of our game is working alongside so many of you. Over the past year, I made a point to visit every single one of our 55 states. That's because I believe that every one of you matters and every one of you deserves to be heard. Throughout my travels, one thing stood out above all else. Soccer is a team sport, and it's also a people business. The people that I met in big towns and small cities, Beckley, West Virginia, Plymouth, Massachusetts, Milan, Michigan, Mandeville, Louisiana, Kalispell, Montana, Waipio, Hawaii, we are all united by a shared belief that soccer should be fun, accessible, and a way to bring people together. That's what it means to be one nation, one team. Una nación, un equipo. If you're as excited as I am for what this future, our future, can look like, I'm asking for your support, and I hope you will vote to move U.S. soccer forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. At this point, we are ready to vote. Siri Mullenix, please proceed with the vote.
Please vote number 1 for Dr. Pete Zophi, 2 for Nathan Goldberg Crinier. Voting is open. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voting is now closed.
Pete Zophi received 25% of the vote. Nathan Goldberg received 75% of the vote. There is a majority for Nathan Goldberg Crinier, and he is elected Vice President for a 4-year term. Please welcome the new Vice President of U.S. Soccer, Nathan. Please come up.
Thank you so much for this tremendous honor. I'll keep it brief, but I want to thank Dr. Pete, who is a dear friend, for his extensive and distinguished service to our game. I want to thank Bill Taylor for his service to the Federation as Vice President for the past 3 years. And I want to thank Cindy, whose vision and leadership I'm very excited to support in this role. I want to thank my friends, my family, and my partner who are sitting in the back for their support and encouragement on this wild adventure. And finally, I want to thank you, our members, for entrusting me with this position. I don't take any of your support for granted, and I'm ready to roll up my sleeves, get to work, and make you proud. Weather permitting, I look forward to suiting up for the adults against the athletes in a little bit, and I hope to see many of you on the field. Thank you again.
Congratulations, Nathan, and welcome. Next on our agenda is For the Good of the Game, which is a special opportunity for all of you to highlight and share and celebrate your great moments over the past year. Members who would like to speak for the good of the game should line up behind and use either microphone on the floor. If you're unable to make your way to a microphone, please raise your hand and we'll bring a handheld microphone to you. Quick reminder, before your remarks, we ask that you say your name and the organization you represent. As people begin to line up, I'd like to start things off by thanking some of our board members who will be ending their time with us after today. Lisa, Richard, Garrison, and Bill, thank you. From the time commitment you've given to the incredible insights and guidance you provided to the absolute passion you brought to the board, I can't say thank you enough to all of you. And I know that it isn't a goodbye, as all of you will continue to stay engaged in our sport, so thank you. All right, we'll just alternate. So Janet, we'll start with you, and then we'll alternate side to side. Go ahead.
Janet Campbell, North Texas Soccer. I first of all wanted to thank Michael Karen and the Budget Committee. They answered a lot of questions for us ahead of the meeting, and I think it really was a great budget put forward, as well as great collaboration to let us know how that broke out. So thank you guys very much. I love seeing that positive bottom line too. But secondly, I wanted to thank the Federation for the Innovate to Grow Fund. We in North Texas received a nice grant for referee programs, and we've been able to put that forward for a wonderful program for female referees to support the growth of the females in the referee program, as well as bringing in new referees. So thank you so much for your support on that.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Bender, the Executive Director of Illinois Youth Soccer. And I really want to thank Cindy for representing U.S. soccer internationally, and for everything you've done for the membership. The organization has changed, and you have done a tremendous job in hiring employees. They're fantastic. JT, and you've got Allison Kokoris, and I'm just going to name a few, Greg Burkhalter, and now everybody else and that's involved. You're welcoming, intelligent, and enthusiastic. And so we feel a part of the organization, something that hadn't happened in the past. We feel that we're involved, that we're being considered, and you're doing a tremendous job. The other thing I want to thank you for is your education. The fact that you have enhanced the coaching education, working on referee education, Safe Sport, as well as the Dr. Chiampas with the Recognize to Recover. We use this information, we send it to our members, and also to our parents. It's very valuable, very important in order to inform and improve the environment in the United States. The other thing is we're excited about the World Cup coming, and to have Greg Berhalter heading the national team is amazing. Again, you've hired so well that it's actually a different federation under your leadership. I also want to recognize Alan Rothenberg, because in 1994, 30 years ago, he created the foundation, and all of us, or many of us, are benefiting from it. There are over 1 million children who have received free soccer education. We're one of the states who benefited by that. And that was a tremendous program, and we really, truly appreciate it. I don't know if Alan's here.
He's right in front.
He's right
here.
in front. Okay.
Yeah, Alan,
so
stand up.
I actually
Come
want
on.
to applaud Alan for what he did. And lastly, I just want to give you a huge hug from the state associations and the women of the Federation for what you do.
Thank you.
Peter Pinari from Eastern New York. Again, I'm sorry for my voice. 3 small little things. Number one, on behalf of Eastern New York, I want to thank everybody, the nominating committee, for the left membership of my friend Sarah Paglia, the board, of course, and all of you. So thank you very much. She fully deserves it. That's number one. Number two, I forgot what I was going to do. Number two. Oh, number two, the World Cup, as we all know, is coming up in 2026. And in 1994, Mr. Sarah Paglia stood up on this microphone and asked the board to make sure that all of us did not get free tickets, but we were able to buy tickets before you went to the public, at least in the places where, the states where the games are being held. So I'm going to ask the board to do whatever they can in order for us to do that. So that was number two. You want to add something? Okay.
Tony Falcone from the Maryland State Soccer Association. I believe it was 1992 I stood before this council with newly inducted life member Sal Rapaglia. He was probably holding my hands because I couldn't be no more than 6 or 7 at that time. How time passes by. And the two of us did approach this council about the World Cup in '94. And if you recall, World Cup '94 was a record-breaking event. And it was that because of the enthusiasm and the efforts of people in this room to make that such a great effort. And so what we're asking is to give us an opportunity to reach out to our players, to our coaches, to our members, that they would be able to purchase tickets before it goes out to general sales and be part of this great event that's coming up in 2 years.
And my last point, it's been a long time since we went back to Hawaii. So I'm asking I know that probably the next 2 years you probably already have a plan, but maybe 3 years from now would be great to go back to Hawaii. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks Cindy. Good morning to everyone. Chris Ahrens, Chair of the Athlete Council, hopefully I look familiar to many of you as I've certainly been around a number of years now. I just want to take an opportunity to stand before you and tell you about a group that I am very proud of, and that is your Athlete Council. So our Athlete Council that are present consist of members of our beach women's national team, our men's deaf national team, our women's deaf national team, our men's and women's youth teams, our men's and women's CP national teams, and our men's and women's national teams. I only share that with you to highlight the wide range of the national teams that we have represented. But who actually are we? That seems to be a question that comes up quite a bit. So in short, we're a passionate group of individuals who care about the sport. It sounds like everyone else in this room. I think we can all agree on that. We're youth coaches, we're college coaches, we're university students, we're teachers, we're referees, we're engineers, we're administrators in the professional game, we're TV commentators, we're moms and dads. We were your youth players, and a few of us, Ben Lindow in the front row, Sean Boyle on the stage, are even your adult players. So I just want to say that, in short, we are you, and we look forward to continuing to build bridges with all of you, and we're excited to be here, and we'll see you out on that pitch, except for me, because I do the athletes a favor. I may chair the group, but for the lack of athleticism, I step out of the game, so they stand a chance. So, thank you.
Good morning. Dave Larraba, Executive Director of the northernmost of the southern states, the southernmost of the northern states, the easternmost of the western states, the westernmost of the eastern states, born ambassador of the Civil War, West by God, Virginia. That was taught to me by Hank Steinbrecher, and I want to reach out to Hank and tell him we miss him and hope that we can see him again soon. I rise, and I told Cindy I had nothing, no complaints, no problems, no issues. All of us that work in any of the associations, as a staff person, you work with normally an elected president, CEO, whatever, and hopefully you have a good relationship. For the last 24 years, I have been lucky to work for what I think is the greatest president of any association in U.S. soccer, Lynn Rogers. Lynn has served the game for over 30 years, but 24 years as president of West Virginia Soccer Association. He is retiring, and as of April 1st, there will be a new president of West Virginia Soccer. He will be on our board as past president, but I wanted to stand in front of you and recognize the contributions of Lynn Rogers to the game in West Virginia and in USG Soccer, U.S. Adult Soccer, and the Federation. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Michael Tata, Western New York. First off, thank you, North Texas. Great job in hosting. Very excited to be here, and always great to be in Texas as well. But little shout out to our referees. Just want to give a little bit there, Tori Penso, and a very special heartfelt to Katie Nesbitt, who is also from Western New York with that. And I just want to add, we talk a lot about what to do with the referee program, and every time I hear that, we talk about doing something about referee abuse or assault, and do not disagree with that in any way. But we do need to look at why are people not joining the referee ranks? Why are they leaving? There's more to it. And we also need to simplify the referee certification program. Thank you.
Hello, Darius Edgelali, North Carolina, and Alex Vidari from North Carolina as well. Cindy, we'd like to thank you for your words of support for our special program under Alex Vidari's leadership. We have put on a women's tournament called Celebrate the Tatas. We have completed our 10th year. Last year, we raised $55,000 to donate to a cancer institute for women who don't have insurance to receive free mammograms. This is our 10th year. We've been doing a great job, and we want to say thank you for your words of support.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Greg Rubendahl. I'm the president of the WCSA, also known as the West Coast Soccer Association. I'm a first-time attendee, but I'm a long-time U.S. soccer fan. For those who don't know, the WCSA is a college club organization that oversees men's and women's club teams that are run and operated for and by students for the love of the game. I wanted to thank a couple of individuals who previously had worked with the Federation, Brian Remedi and John Fleischman, both of whom have helped develop our organizational landscape, as well as providing opportunities for post-high school athletes looking to represent their schools and compete on a regional and national level while pursuing their academic and professional goals in a college setting of their choice. A big thanks to my other board members, Brian Yip, JB Blessinger, and Michael Fariabi, who does our referees, who do so much for our organization. And I hope that many of you realize and recognize there are collegiate programs out there for all of your players that are people and goal-driven, high-aspiring, and if your school in your local community doesn't have college club teams, reach out to me, because let's make it happen so that we can get more kids playing for longer. Thank you.
Yeah, Michael and I stand as the referee committee chair. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Ref Abuse Prevention Working Group. Thank you to the board for helping us put this together. We agree that this work is just one step in the initiative to grow the number of referees. You highlighted a very important one that JT and I talk about all the time, but our commitment is to continue to have real transparency in the working group, through the MAC, with the members, anybody that wants to reach out and provide input to me or anybody else in this working group, please feel free to do so. And next year, I would like to bring a bylaw forward to formally have the referees as a recognized voting group within the National Council.
Hi, my name is Kendra Halterman. I wear a lot of hats, but right now I'm going to be representing Utah. A few months ago, we did lose our president, Bill Bosgraf. For those of you that didn't know that, Bill was a huge impact not only for our state, but he did a lot for soccer as a whole. And I just want to thank U.S. Soccer for honoring him the way that you did. That was very special. Another thing I wanted to quickly touch on is after kind of a 3-year ordeal, I'm happy to announce that Utah Adult and Utah Youth have officially merged, and I'm so excited about the next journey for Utah.
Tony Falcone again from the Maryland State Soccer Association. This year, the Maryland State Soccer Association is celebrating its centennial as a member of U.S. Soccer and as an organization. I don't know if the camera can see our little thing here. It's from 1924 to 2024. We will be holding a centennial gala on August 10th at the campus of Loyola University in Baltimore. And if anyone would like to attend, we'd be more than welcome to have you. We also have a program book that we're putting to remember all that's happened during these past 100 years. And if you like information about our gala and our centennial, you can find it on our website at marylandsoccer.com. Thank you.
I'm Chris Branscombe from Eastern Pennsylvania, and I just wanted to thank Maggie Groff for lending us Richard for the last 40 years. And as he said, he's retiring, and this time he means it. But outside of the gentleman in the front row, I don't know of any other person that's done as much for this game as Richard. So I think we need to send him off with one more round of applause.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Ashley Hammond again, Cerebral Palsy Soccer. Shameless plug at 12:30 today, post this meeting. The Wandering Disability Clinic has now wandered to the East Atrium because of the rain outside. And before you all go suit up with Nathan and everybody to play outside, I hope you'll come and see some of our disability service organizations. We have a Power Soccer demonstration. My good friend Steve Everett's here from Power Soccer, and if you want to have a run around the East Atrium in one of the Power wheelchairs, trust me, it's fun. You also get to meet some of our friends from Blind Soccer. We have some of our CP national team players, some of our blind and deaf women's national team players here. So if you get a chance, come over to the East Atrium at 12:30 for the Wandering Disability Service Organizations Clinic, and thank you for supporting us.
Tom Moore, California Soccer Association North. With permission of our adult commissioners, I'd like to offer the formal challenge from the Adult Council to the Athletes Council in today's game. Now, the last 3 matchups, the adults have missed. We've lost. So I think we need to have a short chat about eligibility. If you are a current or former adult professional player and you brought your cleats, if you are a current or former national team player and you brought your cleats, but you're not on the Athletes Council, well, guess who you have to play for? The adults. Cindy, will staff announce a time for this? And of course, you'll turn off the rain for us, correct?
I I'm going to disappoint you a little bit. I have just been informed that due to the rain that it is canceled. So you will have to wait till next year.
Next year, all right. We're going to get you next year.
Adult council wins by forfeit.
Fritz Marth, Adult Commissioner. Looks like I'm last but not least again, hopefully. I just want to say that this year, the National Amateur Cup is celebrating its 100th anniversary, and it will take place at the end of July in DeKalb, Illinois, because 100 years ago, it all started back in Chicago. The National Amateur Cup, I believe, is the oldest amateur competition in the United States. So I would encourage everybody, if you like good soccer and you want to support amateur adult soccer, come out and watch the National Cup Finals in Chicago this July. Thank you.
I'll go after Don.
Don Rawson, Executive Director from Virginia Youth Soccer. I would like to thank Cindy, JT, and the entire staff for all the work you've done thus far on evaluating the ecosystem. When the story is written about today, there's no doubt that a couple of the challenges in the voting that were experienced today, voting on the payment of the president, which passed, and the new vice president, this story will be written about that. But I think the real story is about the work that all of us have done thus far and will have to do in the next year to reevaluate the ecosystem. And everybody, I'm encouraging all of us, we have to step up and help the process. And my prediction is a year from now, there's going to be a lot of decisions made in this room that are going to be about change. And change is very challenging, but we have to rise and meet the challenge. And I'm encouraging all of us to be a part of the process and engage in it and embrace it. Embrace the change so that we can make the ecosystem the absolute best we possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was hoping you wouldn't have to send me back over to the other side. I want to say thank you to all of you, but before I finish, and after I've done that, I want to say something else. As chairman for many years of the Credentials Committee, I had the opportunity to create the question. And the question was always a fun question. I don't know how many here, just show of hands, not push buttons, were present during the first one in which we pitted Mickey Mouse against Donald Duck in a PK shootout. Who was here for that? Very good. Don't announce the answer if you know, because I'm going to, recognizing that women are a critically important part of the game and the central part of the game, I am going to give you another opportunity, and it's probably my last opportunity. I'm going to pit Minnie Mouse against Daisy Duck. So, are the keypads still working, Siri?
This might be a good show of hands.
I
We'll
like
take
it,
you back to
Siri.
your first AGM, Bob.
Okay. Okay, we'll use the show of hands.
We can actually do it, Bob, with the keypads.
Okay, one will
For
be
you,
Daisy
one last
Duck.
time.
One will be Daisy Duck, two will be Minnie Mouse. Which of the two will win in a penalty kick shootout? One is Daisy Duck, two is Minnie Mouse.
Voting is open.
What do you think? What did?
Should do a count now.
Surely, Siri, they've had enough time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, they have not had enough time. This was a tough one, Bob.
Bob, I'd like to request a roll call vote.
Voting is closed.
Daisy Duck. Well, her husband lost X number of years ago, but Daisy is won. Contrary to her husband, she is the soccer player she's quacked up to be. However, I thought of another punchline, and that is Minnie Mouse squeaked out with a loss.
Thanks, Bob.
I'm not sure how to follow that. My name is Paul Scheer. I'm president of the Idaho State Soccer Association, and this is about the good of the game. And the thing that I see that's good about the game is the transformation. It's the inclusion that U.S. Soccer has finally recognized that there's all of us out here. And I'm thrilled, I'm excited. I can't wait to be part of what we can do for the World Cups. We're here to volunteer to help wherever we can, whatever we can do. Just stay open and inclusive as possible. We need to end the exclusiveness. We need to embrace everybody and bring everybody into the game. Thank you.
John, did you want to?
No, I'm good.
You're good now? You always like to go last, so I was trying to. Any other board members? All right. All right, thank you all. Before we go, I'm pleased to announce that next year our AGM will not be in Hawaii, but it will be held in our new home, Atlanta. We're excited about our new home and eager to welcome all of you to the area. Thanks again, everyone. I appreciate everyone's work today, and as I said earlier, I'm incredibly excited about the future. Together, as your partners, we've made a lot of progress, but there is still a lot of work to do. The future is very bright, and by working together, the opportunities are limitless. Can you tell I'm tired of talking? This is the most words I've said. As we wrap the 2024 NCM, we'd like to remind and encourage everyone to join us for the panels this afternoon. We have some great leaders in the game that you'll hear from, and then as Ashley said, we have the Pan Disability Soccer Clinic, and unfortunately, the outdoor soccer has been canceled due to the weather. And then finally, we look forward to seeing you and celebrating together tonight at the awards dinner. And since you all passed my stipend, I will buy you all drinks and dinner tonight. So thank you again. We'll see you.